Welcome to Issues and Answers with your host Diane Kinderwater. Issues and Answers is presented as a public service to inform, educate, and better the lives of New Mexicans. And now, Issues and Answers with your host Diane Kinderwater.
Welcome to the program. I'm Diane Kinderwater. If you're like me, you've heard on the radio, Casa Esperanza, give hope a ride. Well, I'm thinking, okay, you're giving a ride, but also they want to donate. They want you to donate your car because they do a fundraiser selling the cars. Give hope a ride, but also Casa Esperanza mainly is give hope a room and support. And of course, Esperanza means hope. It's for people who are facing illness here in New Mexico, their children, their grandparents, family members. Casa Esperanza gives them a place to stay at a very reasonable rate. They also help to facilitate transportation to the hospital, and also they are there to give a helping hand and, of course, that support. So please stay with us as we talk to Chris Ann Gray, the executive director for only 12 years of Casa Esperanza, and what she has seen during these past 12 years with Casa Esperanza and how she has seen our community heal. So please stay with us as we introduce you to Casa Esperanza right after this.
Hey America, now there's a place where we can join our voice, Real America's Voice. Real America's Voice is coming to a town near you with a grassroots approach, bringing the real voice of America together. Real America's Voice is growing our family of networks across the country, and soon you could be part of that change. Download the Real America's Voice app and join other Americans just like you across the country, coming together for real change.
Well, it's House of Hope, Casa Esperanza. Room accommodations, they're helping 28 rooms available for a very nominal fee. I'm saying, wow, that's a good gig to stay there, but you have to have some kind of serious illness or something to go through, which is not a good gig at all, is it, Chris Ann Gray, Executive Director of Casa Esperanza? You've seen it all.
We have. Do you know Casa Esperanza became a 501c3 in 1987, but it took many people, including the Realtors Association of New Mexico, the board at New Mexico, UNM Cancer Center, and lots of people raising funds. And then we opened our door in February of 1992. So 31 years. We have helped over 46,000, I say patients, but we don't do the medical care. We do access to the needed medical care. And so you can be a patient that is in the hospital with a serious medical need. We opened up with cancer only, but we've expanded a little.
So is the patient, well, of course, a lot of times the patients are at the hospital, but if they had undergone the chemotherapy, they needed a place to stay. And then, of course, a family member, if they wanted to stay with them, would stay at Casa Esperanza in a room.
Exactly. So if you're in the hospital, your family can stay and go back and forth to all the area hospitals, because we find that when people have family support, it really helps in their healing. Or you can be doing outpatient chemotherapy, radiation, a kidney transplant. You need to be close. We do high-risk pregnancies, and then once the babies are born, a lot of times they're in the NICU unit, and so mom and dad can stay with us and go back and forth to the hospital.
And where are you located? Where's Casa Esperanza located?
We are located at 1005 Yale Boulevard Northeast, and it's back up across from UNM North Golf Course. But we are not owned by UNM. We're an independent 501c3. And like I said, we help Presbyterians, Loveless, New Mexico Cancer Center, and UNM Comprehensive Cancer Center, and UNM.
So is it like a little hotel? Does it look like a hotel?
I don't know if it looks like a hotel. We're 28,000 square feet.
A big hotel.
Yeah.
A little big hotel. Well, 28 rooms.
So
28 rooms.
we do. We have
rooms and suites.
Yes, and so we have 16 rooms, and so that looks like a hotel room, 2 beds, bathroom, refrigerator, reclining chair. The 12 suites have an extra living area with a pull-out sofa, so they would sleep up to 6 instead of 4. But the one thing that's so special about Casa Esperanza is all the families are going through, they're going through a stressful situation. And for us to provide that home away from home, we have a community dining room area where people meet in the morning and have cereal and drink coffee. And it has 4 kitchenettes where they can fix something to eat. We have a whole bunch of refrigerators that people share. We have food boxes for families. We partner with community organizations and individuals. They come in, we have a dinners program, and they'll come in and fix a dinner in the evening at 5 or 5:30. And so if you've been at the hospital all day and you return to have a hot meal fixed for you, that is really nice for the families.
That's a certain treat when you're undergoing all these things. You don't have medical care. Of course, we have it at other hospitals, but you do have a lot of other care that you provide at Casa Esperanza.
We do. Our family care team is the hub of the house, and families get to know the staff at the front. And we have a lot of things available, gas cards. If you have a new baby and need diapers, we have some gift cards for that. We have food boxes that we'll give to families if they need any of that. We also partner with the college at UNM, and we have a couple work study students that come in and help do some things. And then we also have a partnership with First Nations Community Health Source. They come in twice a month and do a traditional Native American wellness session around a dinner, which is just so wonderful. And it's for all of our families. And then the opposite, 2 Tuesdays a month, Michelle comes in, and she is our social worker, and she provides some support for families. What do they need? Is there things that she can help connect them to? Is there something they need once they leave and go back home? We also, partnering with all the hospitals, we talk to social workers and case managers, and we make sure that the families have what they need. And
what are some examples of that, Chris-Ann?
If they need a gas card to get to an appointment. Being on the UNM campus, we have a shuttle that will take them to UNM Hospital or UNM Comprehensive Cancer Center. But say you're being seen at Rust at Presbyterian on the west side, or Loveless Women's Hospital, you may not have a way to get back and forth. Many of our families have a car, but some don't. So we have taxi vouchers that we set up. A taxi would take them, a gas card if they need gas to get back and forth. And then we are part of the New Mexico Cancer Council, it's called, and cancer groups all over the state provide help to cancer families. And we still provide about 55% of our families are cancer families.
Still.
And so we have partnerships with many groups, Cancer Support of New Mexico. There's just a lot of Comadre is for women with breast cancer that are Spanish speaking. And we can connect people with those kind of things if they need it.
And how do people hear about you?
When I very first started 12 years ago, the board was like, oh, we need to travel around the state. We need to talk to all these other places. But we found that, well, let me tell you a statistic. 40% of New Mexico is rural, but only 10% of health care is available in those rural areas, and that number is declining in our state. 6,300 cancer patients a year need assistance, and 4,000 of them don't have any treatment in their communities. Those are just some of the overwhelming statistics.
So they come to the big city.
So they
come to the
here.
Emerald City here.
That is very true. So once they are here and diagnosed with cancer, needing a kidney transplant, or they have a high-risk pregnancy, we have such long-term standing relationships with the hospitals. Case managers and social workers will refer them to us.
That's how they found it. What percentage of the people are from Albuquerque or from outstate who stay at Casa Esperanza?
So people who stay at Casa Esperanza have to live 50 miles from us.
50.
50.
Okay.
And so it's all the 32 county, and occasionally we'll have a special circumstance. We had a circumstance where somebody needed a certain kind of iodine treatment and couldn't be around their family during that treatment, and so we got a call.
So mostly outside of Albuquerque,
yes,
folks.
But all over the state. Then we do a few people from southern Colorado and a few people from northern Texas, just across the border. And then the Navajo Nation in Arizona. We do get some families. If
they're getting care at the University of New Mexico or Presbyterian, if they're getting care, there'd be a family open to Casa Esperanza.
Yes.
Okay.
Anyone is open to stay at Casa Esperanza. Wow. They have to have a documented medical need provided by.
Otherwise, that was a pretty good rate. I read $35 a night.
Well, do you know, Diane, what happened when I very first started? It's kind of funny. Around this time, Balloon Fiesta time, we would have families that had come to stay with us, and I wasn't familiar with them yet. I was just getting to know them, and a couple of them would make a reservation and come back to stay, and we didn't take that documentation. I mean, so,
oh no, I know what you're saying.
Anyway, so we had to correct that really quick because
so there were Balloon Fiesta goers who came to stay for $35 because they couldn't find a hotel room anywhere else.
So a small room is $45 and a large room is $50. We never would turn anyone away for not being able to pay. We have many partnerships with the hospitals that will help offset those fees. GCAP is a gynecological awareness program that helps women with, breast cancer, ovarian cancer, those things. They help. Love Us Women's, we're just setting up something for some of their high-risk pregnancies. UNM Comprehensive Cancer Center offsets $25 a night for many of their patients. And then I write a lot of grants to foundations and other things, and we have that money to help offset for room nights.
Well, at $45 or $50 doesn't even carry the cost of everything else that you offer.
It doesn't.
The refrigeration, the air conditioning this past summer, I mean, that cost doesn't even cover that. So how are you funded, Chris Ann?
Well, I would say the largest part of our funding comes from individual donors, and my heart goes out to every person who sends us $1 or up to help support our mission and our families. That's the largest. And then grant writing, we have fundraising events that we have business partners that help sponsor those events.
What are those events?
We just finished up in June, Honky Tonk for Hope, Health and Healing. So we changed it up a little bit this year. We had done a campaign with American Cancer Society called Getting Screened, and we had done that for about 3 years. During the pandemic, people were putting off their cancer screenings.
Sure.
And we don't do screenings at Casa Esperanza, but we see the impact where people do not get their screenings. So the earlier diagnosis, the better off people are. And it's amazing, they have what they have for cancer treatment now. So get your screening, all kinds, colonoscopies, breast cancer, HPV, lung cancer screenings. We just had a meeting this week with the American Lung Association, and they are partnering with New Mexico Cancer Center and hopefully UNM and Loveless to do lung cancer screenings. And they want to be able to have a couple people come in and just stay one night with us and get their screening and then go back home. So our partnership for getting screened is a really one where we partner with a lot of other people, but we are hoping that that continues.
But you're offering them your space, your rooms for the screening in hopes of preventing.
Yes.
Fabulous. Have you been offering rooms for screenings prior to this?
It is just something that we've started to do recently over this last few years when we are doing these Getting Screened campaigns. And then we did some commercials that ran on TV with different people. Stephen Michael Casada did one. We sent it. I don't know if they'll have time to play it today, but he encourages people to get screenings. And so we did those. So we spent a couple of months prior to our Honky Tonk for Hope, Health, and Healing running ads. And then we also partnered with all of the Chamber of Commerce's, the American Indian Chamber of Commerce, and they sent information out to all the pueblos. The Hispano Chamber of Commerce is one of the largest in the country, and they disseminated information about screenings. Greater Albuquerque. So any way we can get that word out is really important right now.
Let's run through the screenings again, Chris Ann.
Oh gosh, I should have thought about it. We have colonoscopies. We have breast cancer screenings, lung cancer screenings. HPV for young people isn't a screening, but they can get a vaccine for the HPV. I know I am forgetting something. I just can't think of it right now. But make sure you schedule a time to get all of those.
And you can stay if you're from out state.
Yep.
They could stay at Casa Esperanza just for the night, just get the screening. How long is your average stay?
Oh gosh, that's a tough question. It really depends on diagnosis and treatment plan. So say you are a woman with breast cancer that needs just radiation. Then you might have a 6-week plan where you get radiation 3 times a week for 6 weeks.
Wow.
So you'll come back and forth.
On the weekends, they'd go home, probably?
Yes, a lot of times, if you don't have a medical appointment or need, then they go home and come back. So
it could be a 6-week span that they're in and out at Casa Esperanza.
I have a story, and I don't know if we have time for it.
Yes, we have time.
We have time, she says. Sean and his mother, Paula, stayed with us. Sean was a young child. He played with stuffed animals in his trucks, and he liked Minions. And it took a month and a half for them to find out that Sean had neuroblastoma. It's a type of adrenal cancer. And he needed really aggressive chemotherapy, and they lived in Espanola. So over a period of 4 years, Paula and Sean drove back and forth between Espanola and Albuquerque to get his treatment. He had 2 little sisters who stayed with their dad in Espanola.
And the treatment was like a day long?
Oh, he was admitted to University of New Mexico, the Children's Hospital, and he was there. So there was all different types of treatments over that 4 years and coming back and forth. What Casa Esperanza did for this family was provide community, a house to give them hope that he would heal and be able to go on with his life, because that's what we do. That's our passion, and everything that they needed, we tried to provide during each one of their visits. 4 years after his treatment's begun, he's cancer-free. He's now gone home to live his life. But can you imagine the kind of toll it would take on a family for 4 years? But stories like Sean's really highlight the importance of what our mission is. And you may be a family who just comes and stays 1 or 2 nights, but that's okay. Those 1 or 2 nights, we're going to wrap our arms around you and give you hope and give you a place to get your treatment and hopefully go back to your home community.
Do you hear back from these folks years later?
Some of them.
I think some of them are the donors that you're talking about.
Some of them, yes. And oh my gosh, Diane, last Christmas I got a card, and as the executive director I have to open up all the mail and log what we get. I had a little card from one of our patients. It was a little boy, and he was in elementary school, and he wrote out this thank you card with these little pictures, and there was $1 in it. And I just got choked up because, you know, how special that is. And so
before we had Casa Esperanza, what did people do?
Slept in their cars, slept in hospital waiting rooms, slept in the rooms of the hospitals. The other thing that people did is they put off treatment because they couldn't afford to travel. They couldn't afford to come and get the treatment. And so by the time they got treatment, it was farther along in progression. So it is important. Yeah, it is important.
How full are you?
So right now we're about 75%.
There's always still a room. I mean,
there is a room. Last night we had none. So we have certain days that we don't have any, but overall, for the months we're about 75%. During the pandemic, stuff really changed. Not that I want to bring up a sad subject, but we were down to about 30% occupancy because it was only outpatients and the most sick that were staying with us.
But usually you're full almost every night?
So I would say, you know, probably 23 to 25% of our rooms are probably full, but we want to make sure that every room has a family stay in it that needs serious medical treatment here. Yeah.
And if you're full, what do? Go again, sleep in their cars, sleep in the...
We talk with the social workers to see if we could get them in. They have some partnerships with hotels. I would say the one thing about hotels, so maybe they go stay in a hotel for a night and then we can get them in and they can move back. But when you stay at a hotel, you're just another family staying there. You don't have all the other wraparound services and support or connection with other families. So you don't feel like you're alone when you're going through treatment.
And that's the key.
Yes, it is. And so it's so important. But the other thing that I would really like to talk about is how the community can help support all of the families from New Mexico.
Okay, Chris Ann Gray, the Executive Director of Casa Esperanza, how can they help support?
Besides donations, which are so important, you can go to casanm.org and you can donate. You can do a one-time donation, you can do a monthly donation, you can set up a planned giving plan for one, there's many ways that you can donate. People who've retired, they can take some of their yearly things and give us shares, and then they don't have to take that hit. There's lots of different ways. The other thing that's really important is volunteers. Casa Esperanza cannot do the work we do without volunteers.
And what do they do?
Oh my gosh. Besides the dinners program, you can come in as an individual and help with certain projects that we have. We have a facilities coordinator, but we have a big facility. You can pull weeds, you can help paint. We just became Lowe's heroes for this year, and they're going to send a group of people to help touch up, paint, and help do some landscaping. And They have $5,000 that goes along with that to give
Spruce
different
it up.
things.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's wonderful. Partnerships in the community are just really important, and the partnerships with banks, credit unions. We have long-term partnerships with credit unions. U.S. Eagle Federal Credit Union has supported us for years. They come and do dinners. When we had a hailstorm and we had to rebuild half of our building, they raised money. Nucinda just gave us a grant for the last couple of years. Bank of America has, Bank of Albuquerque. I mean, a lot of different places help fund us. Besides Loveless, Presbyterian, UNM, I mean.
And does the state also fund you?
Yes, yes. So the state of New Mexico's Department of Health has a comprehensive cancer program, and they help with funding every year.
And lastly, as our time has run out, Give Hope a Ride. Tell me about that.
Oh, yes.
30 seconds to tell us about Give Hope a Ride.
Give Hope a Ride. You can go to Casa NM and donate your car, truck, vehicle. That money, we have auctions every other month. We sell those cars for our long-term sustainability and support our families. Give us a call at 505-246-2700. Come take a tour, look at the impact we have, donate your vehicle.
How'd you get into vehicle donations,
Yes,
right?
Yes.
And they don't need to work?
No, they don't have to
But
run.
you auction them off for parts and...
They need the doors, this or that, and some work, some run, yeah. It depends, and it's been a great program for us.
It has been. I hear about it all the time. I like it. Give Hope a Ride. That's nice.
And the one last thing I would say is I send gratitude out to every person who helps support any social profits, nonprofits in our community, because we all do fabulous work. But if you're interested in helping Casa Esperanza, please reach out to us.
Very good.
Thanks, Diane.
Thank you, and happy holidays to you and your family and all the loved ones who are visiting and staying at Casa Esperanza. We pray for their wellness and health and their healing.
Thank you.
Thanks. Chris Ann Gray, my guest today, the Executive Director of Casa Esperanza. Thanks for watching. I'm Diane Kinderwater. Make it a great week with your family. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.
The New Mexico Modern Child Support Family Program works to benefit both parents for the purpose of improving children's lives. It provides the basics of child support, but goes further by helping parents step up to find better job opportunities that get them back on track to paying their monthly child support obligation. Find out how the Child Support Step Up program can help your modern family. Contact New Mexico Child Support today to learn more.
Issues and Answers with your host Diane Kinderwater is presented as a public service to inform, educate, and better the lives of New Mexicans. To comment on today's program or to purchase a copy of any Issues and Answers program, visit sunbroadcasting.org or call us at 505-345-1991.